Morning, everybody. Welcome to Pain-Free Posture. Let's get started. Go ahead and grab 2 blocks today and a strap. And I'll mute everybody else. If you're just joining us, welcome. Go ahead and start standing at the wall, feet pointed straight ahead. Line up your low joints, so ankles, knees, hips. Go ahead and take your rib cage back to the wall and bring your head to the wall. And just take a few deep breaths right there. Okay, so feel the east-west breath come into the rib cage. So that with each breath, the whole rib cage expands, the circumference of the rib cage expands, even into your back body. That way the ribs separate a little bit from the belly. We don't just get a belly breath. And different people have tension in different places in their abdomen. But as we come back to the wall, we get the back muscles to hold us more stable. Then we can start to explore, where does the diaphragm move and how does the rib cage expand with each breath? Excellent. Then walk your feet out just a bit. The farther you go out, the more difficult it'll be. Lift the front of your foot up off the floor and bring it back down. Lift and lower. That's an anterior tib raise, the muscle in the front of the shin. And then notice against the wall the alignment of your pelvis, the alignment of your rib cage, and the alignment of your shoulders. If you have twist or rotation in any of those places, start to take that out. Get more even all the way up the chain. Five more. Excellent. Then staying against the wall. Straight legs, calf raise, all the way up, all the way down 20 times as well. So we're finding some of those deep layer, whisper layer of muscles. Sometimes people do this on the reformer with the bar if you're a Pilates person. Finding these loaded on top of your low joints, working these muscles. Now go ahead and walk your feet out just a bit and come into a bent knee position. Your knees can go slightly over your toes and then calf raise again. So with your knees bent, you're separating this line of muscles along the back of your leg where your calf, your hamstring, and your lumbar erectors connect. By bending the knees, we put a break in that chain of muscles. So we're after the soleus, underneath the gastroc. Lift and lower. Feel your toes spread wide. When I was doing this the other night, I could even feel like I had a tendon in one of my toes that kind of popped. As I went through it, I was like, ooh, there's something that's hooked a little bit. And then walk it back in. And then straight legs. One more time, lift the whole front of the foot back up off the floor. Pull the outer side of your pinky toes. So if your feet want to turn a little bit, supinate, bring them back to straight. Yep, excellent. Great. Heels at the wall, feet pointed straight ahead. Let's go to your hands. So we've gone to feet. Now I want you to spread your fingers really wide. Open up the whole hand. And then touch your thumb and your pinky together. Squeeze. And then open your hand. Thumb and ring finger. Squeeze them together. Pinch. Open it way up. Thumb, middle finger. Open. Thumb, pointer finger. Now, do that one more time. Start at your pointer finger and go back. Pointer, open the hand wide. Middle finger, open the hand wide. See if you can feel muscles all the way up your arm into your shoulder as you do that action. Spread your fingers really open and wide as you go out. Going. One more time all the way through. Good. From the periphery of your body all the way in towards the core. Go ahead and bend the elbows, move your arms slightly wider than your shoulders, and then open your arms all the way out. Spread your fingers wide again. Feel the whole arm rotate. Feel the rotator cuff. Turn the shoulder back so you're moving at the level of the arm bone. Open it up. Take a deep breath. Full expansion of your diaphragm. Full movement in the rib cage. Release. Open the arms like you've got wings, and then full breath. Bring them in and out. Five more. Take it right into an arm glide. So bring your arms up and then one at a time, reach all the way up above you, bring it down, other side, all the way up and pull it down. Now, if there's any pain in his shoulder, maybe that is a little bit of a motion, but it doesn't go up over. To have this function of the shoulder being able to go all the way up where this upper trap finally gets to engage and that shoulder blade gets to reach all the way up, we need to have pain-free range. So if you get to a place where you're like, ooh, I'm getting some impingement in that shoulder, just stop there, breathe, and allow that to be there. You can play with the shoulder a little bit and say, does the shoulder need to slide up towards your ear so that that can clear, or do you need to lower the shoulder down your back to get that to clear? Figure out what's the right path in your body for that shoulder to be able to go up a little higher in a pain-free range. Excellent. Take one step forward, shoulder rolls up and back and around. then reverse. Back and forward and around. Good, moving that thoracic back. Keeping that nice and mobile. Feeling the shoulder blades roll over the rib cage. And then back again. All right, grab one of your blocks. We're gonna do some hip cars while we're standing. You're gonna take your block, if you have a wall, and put it next to the wall and then hold your body against it so that you're keeping the block against the wall. That's gonna help you keep some stiffness around your trunk. So wall, block, hold it there. If you don't have a wall, it's not easy. Just keep your body as stable as you can. You're gonna bring your knee up. Then rotate the ankle out and bring it around. Yeah. So if you have a wall, hold the block there, bring the knee up and then out and around. As if you're drawing a circle with that knee. Then as you come back, it's like dog pees on a fire hydrant, bringing it up and around. As you do that, keep the ribs and hips in alignment so that the ASIS bones and the rib cage is staying stable. So your torso staying stable while you balance on that leg, bringing this hip around. Hold it there and balance. And then with the shoulder or arm, reach all the way up, all the way back, and around. Full range of motion. Once again, rib cage stable. Just the shoulder gets to move. If you don't have a wall and you're here, that's fine. You're balancing and you're taking your arm up and then backstroke all the way around with as stable a torso as you can create. Good. With this hip, work that hip flexor one more time. Bring the foot down, pull that leg straight up. If you're holding that block against the wall, keep it there, lift. Everything else in your trunk stays totally stable. Just that hip flexor gets to do that action. And release. Excellent. Yeah. Woo. Okay. Second side, if you have your block, use the wall. Or if you have a wall and a block, use it. If not, you can just do it standing. Bring the leg up. Take the ankle high. So internal rotation of that leg. Torso stable. Bring that leg around. And then back, like dog pees on a fire hydrant. Up and around. That's right. Okay, keep that leg up so you're balancing. Take the arm up, back and around. Big shoulder rotation. Again, stable through your ribs, stable through your pelvis. Thumb goes up, the hand turns backwards, pinky reaching back and around. And then back through. And then that hip flexor, so last 10, keeping your pelvis and rib cage completely stable. Reach the foot in front of you. Pull that leg straight up, hip flexion. All right. Standing hamstring curls. So we're working all of these. We work some rotators, we work some stabilizers. Hamstrings are big movers. So curl it all the way up. Keep the knee pointed straight down to the floor. As you go up, try to keep the ribs and the pelvis in the same spot and release. All the way up so the quad gets length. The hip flexor maybe gets a little length also, and we get work through the hamstring. Switch sides. Ribs and hips stable. Knee pointing straight down to the floor. Curl that leg up, all the way up and down. Excellent. Release. Come down onto your hands and knees. Round and arch your back. Back to dog. Begin to explore that movement of the pelvis rolling over the top of the thigh bones. Going into some lumbar extension and just feeling where is that in your body today. And then tucking your tailbone, coming up into full flexion. Shoulder blades moving away from your spine. And then as you move down, back arches, shoulder blades come together toward your spine. Even here, we have a little bit of opening of the front body and some flossing of the nerves as they go from your head down toward your sacrum. Pulling some nerves through the straw that they're in, making them a little bit flexible, making sure there's a clear pathway. In either of these positions, if there's pain in any of them, shorten the range so that you're not pushing into those end ranges. This is flexion, but it's not loaded. So it seems to be pretty healthy for the spine. All right. Use the Mcgill Big Three today. Roll onto your back. We're going to stay with this idea. What we've been working on is movement in the arms and legs and kind of stiffness through the core or through the spine. As long as your shoulders are healthy enough, bring your hands underneath the small of your back so that there's, your hands are helping to maintain the lumbar curve in your back, bisecting your belly button, so you're balancing on your sacrum. And then just check, are you still in good alignment between your belly button and your sternum and your rib cage? And feel, what's the difference in your shoulders? Do you have one shoulder that doesn't rotate like this quite so well? There's more stiffness. Just allow that transition to happen for a moment. And then extend your left leg and lift your elbows off the floor. Lift your head barely off the floor with a slight chin tuck, and then lift the leg. So stiffness in the trunk, lift the leg barely off the floor. Stiffness in the leg, stiffness in the trunk, building some endurance into this position, finding your deep neck flexors, and release. Switch. Hover the leg off the floor, lift the elbows off the floor, slightly bring the head up off the floor, and hold. Finding stability in your trunk, little bit of movement with that leg. Release, switch. Lift, elbows, head, just barely. Big full breaths. Allow the diaphragm to work. Release, switch. Lift, elbows, head. Hold it up there. And release the leg, release your arms, and then do a few pelvic tilts and see if you can do smooth rocking between those places. Okay, take it into an active frog. Roll shoulders open, slightly tuck them underneath your back so that you have open chest, open thoracic back, and then drop your knees out. As you drop your knees out, the thigh bones may pull on your pelvis just a little bit, and then bring your legs back together. We'll do 20 of those. Active frog, go slowly, let the adductor lengthen, and then bring the legs back in. We're getting a spin of the femur in the hip socket and a slight lumbopelvic rhythm as you go in and out. Just a tiny bit of movement.
If your buns want to twitch.
When you go all the way out, they can a little bit, that's fine. You're in external femur rotation, so you can feel that full external femur rotation. Excellent. Go onto your side and come into a quad stretch. You could use one of your blocks, put it under your head, reach back, grab on. If you need your strap to loop around your ankle, you could do that. Press your knee away from you. You could gently tuck your tailbone and open that front of the thigh. Sometimes back pain or even hip pain can happen because the psoas or quad is too contracted or short. And that could happen because of sitting. It could be short and tight, short and weak, all different positions. But if it's short, it can pull the head of the leg bone forward. It could even be tight My quad gets tight because of the protection of the knee. Now, if that feels easy for you, you could explore a little back bend. So as we open up the front of the body, the front of the shoulder, the pec, and letting that shoulder blade slide back, you could press your foot into your hand and your hand into your foot and just begin to explore a slight back bend. For some of you, that's not okay. Please listen to your body. You need the deep muscles of your back to be able to turn on to allow that to happen. There's an expansion quality that happens from the inside outward. Back bends in yoga sometimes are about, reaching back into the unknown. But we have to be prepared and ready. Your body has to want to go into that. Otherwise, we can just get cramping in the facets, or you could send yourself backwards. So just notice, how does it feel for you as your body starts to open into that and let go, and gently release. Bend both knees. We'll go right into a clamshell.
On the other side.
Nope. Lift and lower. So imagine there's a weight on the top of that knee. Lift and lower. We're staying with this kind of theme today of movement of the leg, but stiffness in the trunk. So as you go up, don't let your spine go anywhere. Just find rotation in that leg bone. Now, if you would like a little more, you can work the bottom of that leg. We did these last time, but pressing up. As long as the shoulder is healthy and this underside of your body is wanting to do some of that work, that lift and lower, adding quite a bit more demand into that move. And then come back down onto your side. You're going to take your arm behind you and your leg in front of you. So there's a bit of a counter rotation in your chest, slight rotation happening. And then take your leg behind you and your hand in front of you, reaching the leg back. Good. Just move slowly through that. Allow your body to find the muscles, hip flex, oblique, pec open, all the things we just moved, to allow that whole linkage to come together. Awesome. Switching sides. Starting with your sideline quad stretch. I'm putting my head on my block so that my neck is in pretty good alignment with the rest of my body. Find what works for you. You could use an arm. You have your block close. Do that, and then press your knee away from you so that you're finding length and space in that side of your body. And then add the breath. And as that shoulder goes back, the pec open, the shoulder can slide in toward your spine, giving you access to your mid-trap and your rhomboid. And as that side opens, the psoas from the low back to the inside of the leg can open, and the front of the thigh. And then if you feel like you got it in you, you could press your foot into your hand and your hand into your foot and use it as a shoulder opener and take it into a bit of a back bend. Add the breath. Feel the body gently adjust. And come back to neutral. And then bring your legs in. 20 clamshells. Legs at about a 45-degree angle, feet together. And then stiffness between the rib cage and the hip. Allow the leg bone to do that external rotation. Deep six and glutes. Working. And then if you want a little more and your body feels ready for it, come up onto that shoulder, press off the bottom hip, lift the top. Excellent. Come back down. Foot comes forward and arm goes back. As long as that rotation feels okay to you. Pain-free movement, add the breath. Allow your body to gently move into a bit of that rotation. The front body is opening, turning, and then reaching the leg back behind you and arm in front of you. Move between those two places. Finding that gentle rotation. All three layers of the back muscles working. And then come onto your belly. Reach your arms up ahead of you. You're going to do a hand-leg opposite glide. So feet and hands stay on the floor. There's a little bit of a left to right shift in your pelvis. As you reach your foot away from you and your arm all the way up, try to get as long as possible, like someone has you on a pulley. You can feel your hip bones on the floor, so it's not a lift right now, just a lengthen. Like someone is literally putting you on a stretcher and stretching the opposite arm and opposite leg away, making space. And then there's a slight right to left movement in the low back around the sacrum as you go to the other side. Walk that arm all the way. You'll lengthen the side body. Add the breath, reaching the toes long on the floor and release. Switch. Release and switch. 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 And then press up into hands and knees. We're going to take it into our bird dog, our hand leg opposite lift. Take it up now. Find that work that we've just done. Find this stabilization in your spine. Press the heel away from you, hand it to a fist, and then little squares. Building endurance into the spine. Once again, spine stable, arm and leg. Reverse. And release. Switch. Hold it out there, find stability at the low back. So watch that your pelvis, is it falling one direction or the other? As if somebody could set the yoga block, you could even do it if you needed to. Have a little feedback, put the yoga block up there, and then move the shoulder and the leg without much movement in the back. Come back to hands and knees, curl your toes, and squinch them all the way up. And then uncurl them and spread them away wide, as best you can. Curl them up, squinch them. Feel the muscles of the arch pull up into the bottom of the foot. And then uncurl your toes, spread them. See how that linkage moves up from the feet up into the hips and pelvis. Do it again, squinch your toes and open them. Kind of lengthening the bottom of the foot. And then passing dogs one more time. Yep. Notice if you have more control. And then downward facing dog pose. Tuck your toes under, press yourself up and back. Go ahead and pedal one heel and the other. Let the length of the back of the calf come into play, the flexion of the ankle. Still pulling your heart down toward the middle of the mat. And feel your hands, the pad of the thumb and the pad of the pinky squeezing towards each other. Pressing through your hands, letting the shoulders slide all the way up. seat. Hold your feet in, grab hold of your blocks.
Doing the hand flying move again?
Yep. Find these muscles on the side of your body. Use your blocks to press into and at least lift butt off the floor. You can lift your butt and your feet. Go for it.
Yeah. Good, babe. I saw that. Yeah. Big air.
And release. 2 more. Lift. Release. 1 more time. And release. Awesome. Extend your legs out straight. You can use your blocks to just take your hands behind you. Lift 1 leg up. Hold 20 seconds. Release. Second side. Lift. Hold it up there. Hip flexor. Quad. You need to lean back a little bit to make it happen. Do that. You can get straight even better if you can lean forward. That's amazing. Switch. 1 more time each side. Hold it up there. Quad, hip flexor, all happening. Switch. And release. Nice work. So we're come into onto your hands and knees. Roll your wrists just a little bit. We're going to load them up 1 more time. Actually, come down to your elbows. We won't. We'll stay with Big Three. Find whatever version of plank works for you. Plank on your elbows. So that could be just this, kneeling, loading up your elbows, feeling that load through the shoulders, the hips, finding your breath. You can take it all the way up into a plank on your elbows. Please do it. Hold and breathe.
We were doing this hold the other day in Laura's class, and I said, "Tell us a story. We don't get so bored doing this." So I told you the story she told us?
No.
Okay, so I'm now 102, and I live in a house with Dave
down.
and
Switch sides, or switch to one side. So here's some options. Hold that thought. You could come up onto a block and just barely load your body there. If your shoulder doesn't like to be fully loaded, you can still get the benefit of all of this side work. You could be kneeling or coming out with your feet split. Okay, go ahead, Carol.
okay, so I'm 102, and I'm living in a house with Cheryl and Dave, and we're all over 100, okay? And so I start to run it back, and then I go, I can't remember, am I getting into this tub or out of the tub? And Cheryl says, oh God, Carol, let me come see you.
Switch.
So then Cheryl's filling up the tub, and Cheryl's coming up the stairs, and she goes, oh, Dave, am I coming up the stairs or down the stairs? Dave said, just a minute. I got a knock on wood here. I'll come straight and get you out. For heaven's sake. He set aside his hands on the floor. So
wait till it happens. You really-
I know, right?
Come down.
We'll let him come too.
Last cat cow, round and arch once more.
That was Mark who my roommates would be when I was old.
Dave and Carol and Cheryl, that's an interesting concept.
New senior housing plan.
Senior housing.
All right, find your position for your meditation.
See, at work, we all did, and then at home. We weren't thinking about the boring school plan.
All right. Take a moment to close your eyes. And just begin to notice, where is your mind today? When we shift into the seat of the witness and notice, do you have thoughts of the past? Worries of the future? Forgiveness that needs to happen? All of those places take us out of the now. Things to do. So begin to shift to right now. Feel your breath. Notice the sounds. Notice the beauty when we show up to this present moment fully. Notice the calm space of consciousness that all of that other stuff arises in. Just get to the peace. Spend a few moments in the right here, right now. So today, as you notice the mind's tendency to want to shift out of the now and take you out of the present moment by tasks that have to be done or worries that show up, how do we shift into what could be done right now? What could be experienced right now? The moment, this present moment is all we really have. Notice the beauty that exists in the present moment by being right here fully. When we shift into this present vibration and notice our own self in the present moment, it allows us to also meet other people in the present moment, to notice their light, to witness our own light and the miracle that it is just to be alive right here. Take one deep breath together. It's with gratitude that I get to spend these mornings with you, working on our body, aligning our physical body so that life force can flow through us more easily, with less pain, less limitation, more grace, more love. Thank you for being here today. You're welcome.